Matt signed me into the Twitter account. That's like, I'm not going to guys. So I'll send you the link.
Douglas's office? Yeah.
So I'll send you the link.
We tested the mics, right? Yeah, he just tested them. Yeah, I know. This is fucking bad. Oh my god, this is fired this fucking long time ago. That's what we do. It's like Alright. I had a couple big boys in our office. What? Doing what?
Stealing all our people. I didn't even fucking shit.
You have a gap. You open up the back doors on the van. Not only just the business table, but when we do lights on this one, it's
Yeah, can I help with
And we'll party balance over
It's a small world. It's funny how many people I run into any
Well, I'm running into the limitation of shitty Wi-Fi. That big orange was red a second ago, so at least it's gotten better. But my buddy that does a bunch of live streaming is like, requesting demand hard line. So like, I'm gonna take a internet cable. Like, I've got like maybe 50 foot of them, but the closest thing I can find is behind the computer. Safety, anyway. So
there's
rolling the camera there. I guess they're
Yeah, she's like, she would go out to like the Blue Dots to go to like some of the events. Really, but I didn't know she was.
just try.
That was you know, it's real far, but I think, so you guys like in Robert's car? That's her. Yeah. Do you like it? And it's crazy though. And our 4-year-old started to go slow at one of the and when I was with her, like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, she's one of the Shalom kids, and, you know, basically, like, understood at the different schools, they learned so much, and I was like, okay, that'll work, I'll take it, so, it's fun.
The coach gave some weird things that were coming
Yeah, dude, this one little design I used to get one stands up and way this everybody has to use some and actually been using like
Yeah.
And here's what the situation is.
Yeah.
But when you're so old, you get that concept back to like the same thing as the law.
this all this crazy shit. So I literally just sit back. I don't see it anymore. I'm just like, this is
So then through like studies say if you go
I know.
but for an extra $5 a month.
Yeah, there's a I still think it's my college, so we're trying to like move it. Like, how many of this the only thing to do that is know whether or not you I feel like there's like
Just figured it's right here.
I'm gonna do live stream.
It's
the what's your email? I'll email you the link.
Well, can you email it to Daniel? It's at My turn.
No, your turn.
Oh, great.
Your last. It's everybody else. Now that's it. Yeah. So he'll key you up like this.
No, I wish I could do it. Actually, just to like have
Yeah. Yeah, the challenge is how to do this talking like every single dot.
practice like 1 or 2 times. And 5 minutes.
It's so hard. I did okay in like 5 minutes when I did here, and I went they invited me up to Muncie today. I spent the first they didn't just open Muncie. I spent the first 45 seconds talking about birds. Because birds is one of the things that out of birds. And so I spent the first 45 seconds talking about that, and then they didn't start my time again. That was awful. They don't like clapping me off before I was done.
You're like, I'm just trying to be nuts. This is the last time
I'm just trying to talk about birds.
I'm trying to be nice to you, but this is the end of that. I'm done. Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. So I'm going to try to have one of the docs so people can use numbers of like how many like minutes am I in? Because I know that I can.
Are you going to give them time? Are you going to give them like minutes or anything? I saw her here to pieces of paper. Yeah.
Good question.
I didn't know if that was what the pieces of paper were for. I'm not sure. But sometimes we do like when I pitch. For me, there was right on stage there was a podium. So I took my phone out and started a timer so I could look down and be like.
I could probably put it here, but I won't be able to. I can see the numbers.
Okay. I need to put in my note. We need to get one of those stage clocks, digital clocks. Yeah, it's interesting. Hi.
Hey, dude.
Chris Reno.
Good. You're on the job.
Yeah.
That's right.
Has it been up there yet?
Last light, but I don't think that was time to do the last light. And then that I can look at that in 30 seconds because it's like I'm stuck on like the process of my stuff, and I haven't jumped into what the process does. Like when I'm like kind of like
full supporter of them. First of all, I'm like,
wrap up like the worry issue value shop.
so it's what you can get my own, but I'm not a good place to talk about. No, it's not. So yeah, it wasn't easy. I love it. It was hard for us to right now, it's me that we're figuring it out. It's not one of the trial so yeah, we'll see.
What about approximate time to start working?
You'll start about you'll end up dealing about like time pattern breaks. Okay, so they're not around like water. I'll be like, excuse me. Okay. I know it's only that's always supposed to be like reception. I didn't know because there's a staircase over there. And then on the wall, I'm just very confused right now. I'm trying to be so too. I don't know how. I guess there's yeah. You guys like figure out like let's get upstairs.
Every night, That's different. It's what my
team. Somebody's gonna be like the people ready together for it.
The way I feel is taking it back. If it's like you guys, I think the passions are fine. I don't think we can access stuff there. That would be, yeah, if we access to sit at the balcony. It's not even like this, because we had the balcony space.
It happens.
Okay. You're done. Okay.
Touch the left hand. Yeah, there's 9 of us, and then we need to hire
That's a little bit about like the talent side of things. I heard you guys on Iron Congratulations. There we go. Okay. How's that going? Right there.
No matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just relax. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you should. Yeah, so on the count.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She's not one of your was. Oh, so she's one of the early. She's short, brown hair. Okay, yeah, Oh, we have. Yeah, so some of our graders going in Moby, the 5 years recorded here, right out there, very cool. We graduated back last September, 20 years ago. The first one graduated. We recorded 2 of those guys. I know Moby's hired 2. Yeah, so we've supported some Iron Man most of the recording has been either like interns or graduates or CS graduates coming right out. What's been interesting, the creative list has been our biggest support pilot. It's been interesting to see that because some of the people that I've used resources have been back-end engineers that have never done anything with like JavaScript and React. They've been on the back end, Java and all this other things, back end, but the teams that they're on being asked to support well, they've never done it. They're close to technology, so we sort of started figuring out with these something that would only be able to help kind of quote unquote teams. Well, in reality, it's just engineers who don't have experience with the big deal. That's been one of the interesting elements. Revelation, yes. Revelation. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Completely different words. Yep. That's the one. That's probably the interesting thing. As far as I think it's. I don't know how it's going to translate. They're the biggest customers we've had. I don't know how it's been translated to smaller teams. Having smaller teams focused more broadly. You don't have like one Canadian list. They've got like one person on one thing. One specific thing for the more. In a small company, you've got like a small team that's almost like trying to cover responsibility. I don't know how to. been hard to coordinate. The companies generally don't invest in it. They say they do, they act like they do with everything else. When it comes down to it, it's harder about it. So, I had a couple of trainers. I just want to last for months. Reach out and say, I know my, this is what they said. I know my brain and where it needs to be.
We need this camera on the sharks, right?
I feel like no. So I'm but now I'm up to this, like, tell it, where it's point, and then it's like, it's still working one that they only have like it, we get all of them here. Why don't we wait until the company wants? Because the reality is, that's what software is. No one's what you really need to do is hire people, learn technology back. Yeah, exactly. So, let me think about that same kind of thing. So, 5 minute delay.
Yeah, it is.
It's like exactly 6 away from us. That was how it really started. We started in June, and the usage in June for 6 weeks, music was because we made the mistake of like releasing it in a while, and then just making the mistake of not knowing what happened. And even still, we haven't, and we haven't been full fledged on board and said the entire section is like so we would first get one that's not going to and two is to execute that, you just know how to do it. And all sorts of people who are in different types of but something like this, how they all understand their own rules. So this is where I'm thinking the last couple of weeks about making a sort of pivot. If we started more of a getting consumer asking about it, hard to say, like it comes down. But hitting Roblox, yeah, I think I'm big. That's what I wonder. We haven't built anything on it seems like now we're going to try to leverage technology partner maybe not, maybe it won't work with PNC, but that's one of the things that I wonder about making it good. I did it. Yeah? Thanks for helping us. And at least the way I've been doing it. Oh, lights are turned on, and all of a sudden we have signups. Yeah, you should understand. Like, it's not, you don't have to have a skill. You shouldn't have to be. You should have to be a salesperson. Based on an hour getting how to use the solution. But like, it's not good.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Okay. Can I go down? I'm gonna go down and encourage people to come up here.
Yes. It's time.
Actually, you wanna come with me?
Okay, go ahead.
One day they pop. Sorry.
That's what
What are you saying?
yeah, they get up and pitch, and you need to be one of these pitchers. He needs to be a shark.
Just want to be on camera. Hey, you're back.
Talking about old bosses.
What's up, everybody? You guys ready for Virgins? Alright, well, Virgins are ready for you. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes, as I'll let you know. I want to give a quick shout out to Manic Imagery that's doing all the photos here tonight. We've got awesome partners. We're drinking Upland Beer, Nameless Catering, and your beers are poured by Bottoms Up with the Speakeasy logo there on the bottom. I just want to give a huge shout out to them. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes, so grab one more beer, grab your last plate of food, and then the people that are closer get to see the slides. So that's how it works. 5 minutes, guys.
They gave us only, so here's the problem. My husband is with Toyota. We're at the
What's up, everybody? How we doing tonight? I see Nathan's already ready for the slow clap. All right, for those of you that know how this goes, please join me. For those of you that don't, see if you can catch on. I think you can. Keep it going. Keep it going. If you can hear me, in your front, take 2 steps forward. Take 2 big steps forward if you're in the front. If you're in the, yeah, I know you can. Take 2 big steps forward. If you're in the back, take 1 step forward. Come on forward. We're about to kick things off here tonight. It is good to be back. It is good to be back in the United States. We've been on a little bit of a world tour lately, which has been awesome. But it is really good to be here in good old Indianapolis. We have an awesome lineup for you here tonight in this beautiful space. Pretty freaking sweet, right? So you are getting a very sneak peek. This is literally still what you would call maybe like a Dusty Boots tour, right? So we're breaking this thing in. Literally, they laid this flooring earlier this week. It's a good idea. If you can hear me say shh.
Shut up!
We have a wonderful shark here this evening, who's also co-emceeing apparently. Doug, that was good. I appreciate that. We have 3 action-packed pitches for you here tonight. Verge is a community of tech entrepreneurs, investors, and top talent. You guys are the people that make this thing a thing. So thank you for being here. A lot of other people wanted to be here, but we just couldn't fit them in yet because you're getting the sneak peek. You got the Dusty Boots tour, right? So we have 3 amazing entrepreneurs that are going to pitch. We have 3 amazing sharks that are going to be keeping them on their toes, asking them questions in rapid fire sort of format. Each entrepreneur will have 5 minutes. When they hit 5 minutes, if they haven't wrapped it up yet, we'll do the slow clap again. So just take my lead on that, okay? Just take my lead on that, okay?
Yeah!
All right, cool. All right, just making sure you're with me. Too many beers before we got started here, huh? All right, so I'm going to blow through this really quick because I want to let you know that not only are the sharks getting feedback, but you can get feedback as well. If you don't already have the Verge app, just Google, or not Google, go to the iPhone store, go to the Android store, and look for Verge Startup or Verge Startup Feedback. You can download that Verge Pitch app, and you'll see our 3 presenters here tonight, and you can give them direct line feedback. We'll actually compile all of that from you guys here tonight, as well as the feedback we get once that video goes live on the app later, so that the entrepreneurs get your smart and intelligent, productive feedback. Hint, hint. Keep it classy. So I want to give a huge shout out to Salesforce Marketing Cloud. For those of you that don't have this history lesson, Salesforce Marketing Cloud used to be ExactTarget. And ExactTarget, we have a co-founder right here, Chris Baggett. Woo! How long ago were you guys officing out of this space? How long ago were you guys officing out of this space? A decade or more. More or less 10 plus years ago. We've got some early co-founders here. Salesforce Marketing Cloud is an awesome partner and sponsor. You're going to be seeing some more Salesforce stuff
here in Indianapolis in the tech community, Indianapolis skyline. And for those of you that maybe don't know, they're having their largest convention here next week out in San Francisco, Dreamforce. Anyone going? 2 people going to Dreamforce. All right. For those of you that haven't been, it's like Woodstock for tech nerds. More specifically, Woodstock for B2B tech nerds. So if you have a chance, definitely check that out, or just pay attention to the Twitter feed. It's pretty freaking sweet. And then I want to give a quick shout out to Perk, because Perk, we actually have an executive from Perk that's going to be joining us here in just a second. Perk is amazing at digital interactions and engagement with content, experiences. If you go to the Verge website right now, you'll see some of the tabs there on the side, like the entrepreneurial quiz that you can take and see what kind of entrepreneur you are or might be if you're not already. Perk powers all of that. So if you need people to engage with your content and engage with your campaign, Perk is a really cool tool for that. And without further ado, I want to bring up their VP of sales. She is an expert. She's an expert at revenue generation, demand generation. She's started several companies of her own. She is an amazing thought leader here in the space. Please help me welcome our first shark, Jenny Vance. Couldn't find you guys. Like, I know she's here somewhere. You get to your pick of seats, although it looks like Doug already hung his bag of goodies. Next up, without further ado, please help me welcome someone who's new, one of the first residents here in the Speakeasy. I shouldn't say resident, tenants, unless you have a bed here.
I do.
You do have a bed here, all right. I took a nap on the floor earlier, so I guess I technically do as well. Doug is an amazing entrepreneur. He was one of the early employees at ExactTarget, has gone on to start his own agency, DK New Media.
I had an office right there.
He has an office right up there, as well as a podcast studio.
Now it's over here.
Please help me welcome our second shark, Doug Carr. And Doug, I see you have a bag there on your seat.
We're not talking about that yet. Are we talking about that yet?
I mean, I'm talking about that right now.
Let's get our third short.
All right. So a little bit of suspicion and suspense back there with the bag of goodies. Last but certainly not least, someone who came up and pitched Gel earlier this year at a Verge event that we had up at Blue Ridge Digital. He's the founder of also several companies, including FormStack, which is an amazing B2C company here that you will be giving feedback on if you're using the app to give feedback. But Gel is also an amazing tool. Our team has been using it the last month, or month plus even, I don't know. Time is kind of blended together. It's an amazing productivity tool for teams, so make sure you check that out. It's free to try. Ade has tons of experience, tons of really good feedback, so please help me welcome the co-founder and CEO of Gel, Ade Ono. You brought your bag as well. I did. All right, great. So sharks, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to keep these entrepreneurs on their toes. Don't go easy on them. Obviously, if something really resonated with you, give them that positive feedback. But part of what we're trying to do here is break the mold of being what's called Midwest nice, which is good sometimes, but when you're talking about early stage companies, it's also good to give constructive feedback as well. So this is a safe place. So tell them what you like, but then also make sure you kind of poke holes. Cool? Cool. All right. Without further ado, please help me welcome our very first duo of presenters from Holdfolio.
All right. I know you all may be wondering, what am I doing with this? That is us breaking the ice.
Thank you very much. Now that we got that over with, welcome everyone. Thank you to Verge. Great setup tonight, guys. Love the space. Our company is called Holdfolio, where we make real estate investing easy. My name is Jacob Blackett, CEO and co-founder. This is my business partner.
I am Sterling White, co-founder and CMO here at Holdfolio. Along with Jacob and I, we have 10 colleagues who also work towards the Holdfolio mission. Jacob and I's experience is we have completed well over 600 real estate transactions and have the management experience of over 1,200 single-family homes And if you're wondering, that is what I looked like when I had hair.
All right, let's take a look at the problem that Holdfolio addresses. And that is that real estate investing is commonly sought after, but there's large barriers to entry. So if you want to invest in real estate, you can simply go out and buy a rental property, become a landlord. With this option, you can earn some good returns, but you have to know what you're doing. So this comes with a time commitment, and there's moderate risk involved. On the other end of the spectrum are real estate investment trusts. So with this option, you're going to earn a little bit lower of a return. It is completely passive and easy to use. This is where Holdfolio comes in to be different. So with Holdfolio, investors can invest completely passively, earn great returns, and it's all easy to use. It's made easy through the proprietary online platform that we built to facilitate this process. Here, individuals can invest in a portfolio of properties that we already own. This platform is the starting point of the relationship with our investors and really is the biggest resource through the entire investment process. This is a look at what an investment may look like on our platform. So it shows pretty simple information: the projected return, the minimum investment that will be accepted, and the number of properties within that portfolio. If someone is to click the more details button, then this is the type of information they'll see on the investment. A nicely written summary of what's going on, the key highlights. Also, all of the investment documents are right here in a user-friendly way to view, read, save, and print. If someone decides that they'd like to invest, then it's just a 3-step process. The first step is diligence. This is important to us. We actually require people to read and review the documents online here. Second is they're going to indicate how much they'd like to invest and how they're going to invest. This is all finished with simply signing the documents online. Once you're invested with us, then everything is monitored and tracked through the online dashboard. Here, information is updated periodically. This keeps track of how much you invested, your ownership percentage, your earnings to date, your annualized return to see how you're doing on your investment, all of the payment history, and all of the documents related to the investment is right here in the dashboard.
All right, let's get into the traction of the company. We've been featured in local publications, Inside Indiana Business, Indianapolis Business Journal, and been listened to and featured on podcasts across the world. Currently, with our platform, we have well over 1,000+ registered users. With the company Holdfolio, we have over $2.5 million invested with the company. In addition to, we have completed 4 portfolios this year. Our market is booming. As you can see in the graph, in 2013, the market was virtually non-existent. In 2014, it spiked up to $1.5 billion, and that is with a B. And this year is actually set to eclipse over $3.5 billion.
With a B.
In October of 2015, we brought our first portfolio to market. It took us 4 long months to fund this thing. Just recently, our recent portfolio took only 3 days. So this leads us to expansion in order to keep up with demand. So we expect, and our goal is, and we will implement, to open up 1 new market per year. And great news, everyone, we actually just set up shop in Dayton, Ohio.
O-H.
Ohio.
Some Ohio people in here.
So our attitude at the Verge community is to simply raise more awareness for what we're doing because we make Indy beautiful. We go in these neighborhoods these great neighborhoods where there's typically distressed properties, eyesores. We go in, renovate the homes, get great quality tenants in place, which ultimately bring up the property values. It's a win-win for all parties. So closing, I wanted to thank Matt Huckler for being awesome and giving us this opportunity. And all you entrepreneurs out there, dream big and take action.
Thank you very much.
So much co-founderly love happening up here. All right, guys, this is the part where you gotta stay on your toes for the Q&A.
Oh.
Yeah, you thought you were off the hook. No, now you're on the hot seat. All right, Sharks. Jenny, you want to kick us off?
All right. I'll probably follow on that later. So who are your biggest competitors and what makes you different?
You guys can share.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you. So competitors, really what the space we're in is real estate crowdfunding. So you've probably seen some mainline headlines of all the different platforms out there doing crowdfunding for real estate. We're a little bit different. Really, we haven't ran into any platforms that do exactly what we do, wherein we are both the investor in the properties and also we own the platform. So it's really direct. We're not a middleman. We raise money for projects that we know and that we have expertise in. So in a sense, we have some competition with crowdfunding platforms, but really they help spread the word of what crowdfunding is for us. It makes it easier for us.
That's a good question. I'm sure there's some follow-up questions.
So you find the properties, negotiate them, buy them, and then that's part of the portfolio, and you own a certain percentage of them?
Yeah, we're fully vertically integrated from real estate brokerage, property management, construction, acquisitions. We have a team of 10 people here in Indianapolis alone, and we typically keep about 25% ownership when all is said and done.
Good question. Ade, anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah, so what's your vision long term in terms of, are you going to be more of a platform or really going to continue to invest in the properties yourselves? And if the latter, how is that going to scale 10x where you're today?
We're investors by nature. And so we built the platform to facilitate growth where we can really connect with our own network of investors who are interested in what we're doing. And we're focused on income producing assets. So we're doing single family homes right now because that's what we're experts at, but we have full intentions of scaling that to multifamily, commercial, different projects.
Good question.
Can I ask the
Bring it home, Jane.
So of your 1,000 registered users and the $2.5 million of invested capital, what's of the 1,000, how many of those have actually invested dollars in projects?
Great question. Right now we have 60 active investors with us.
Out of 1,000.
Yep.
Gotta hustle.
It's a big investment.
How do you survive a down market?
So we focus on cash flow. So in order to make good returns, we simply need to ensure that our tenants are paying their rent. We don't have to rely on these properties to appreciate over the long term. So historically, we can kind of cruise right through those downturns. Our rents become more attractive.
Good questions and good answers from our entrepreneurs. Got some bonus questions in from our first two sharks. Ade, do you want a bonus question?
Yeah. If Doug gets one, I would too.
You already got your bonus question, Doug.
It's a quick one. So how do you make your money other than your own investment? Do you charge other investors some sort of carry or something on their investment?
Yeah, we really make our money in that 25% ownership that we keep. And so, right now, that's what we focus on, is keeping as much ownership as possible.
Good questions.
No question, just a comment. A guy named Douglas Carr signed up on your site yesterday, got an appointment this morning, and your salesperson canceled.
Okay, yeah, it's
That's right, that's right.
Well, he was coming to Verge, so it's okay.
Well, here's the thing. Luckily, we actually put really good people on our team. So that was sniffed right out. The call was made at 9 a.m., texted, rescheduled at 10:30, called, voicemail, and we'll follow up. We'll get you. We'll get you on Facebook.
It's true, but I was going for the initial.
All right, Doug, what you got in that bag?
All right. So I just want to make all the people demoing today to feel a little bit better that there's always crappier products out there than what they're trying to pitch. So you guys are going to get a Vegetti. You're going to have to show it. You just.
He owns that.
I do own one.
That is beautiful.
So, there you go. Just remember that someone invested millions of dollars in product and time and TV.
I'm looking forward to it.
Let's give it up for our first pitch, Holdfolio. Great job, guys. Yeah, it's interesting. I watched these guys go from idea to MVP to now product where they've got active investments and they've been coming to Verge. They've been watching the pitches, and I think we started off pretty strong there. I think you guys broke dance pretty well. Let's give it up one more time. All right, so one of the cool things about coming to Verge is you get kind of an update of some of the things that are happening, not just locally, but globally. And I want you guys to be able to hear this, so I'm going to do one of these one more time because I'm a kindergarten teacher. If you hear me say shh. Good job, guys. Call that affirmations. All right, so Developer Town. Any of you guys know Developer Town? Yeah! Awesome. Hey, we got some partners in the house. Welcome, just in time. So just in time to hear this story, Clark. So we actually office out of Developer Town. It's a really cool space, but they're not really like a traditional real estate play. They actually are a consultancy that focuses on starts. And so actually what they did was 3 years ago, they had a founder and entrepreneur, Jonathan Frankel, that was the part I was having trouble remembering, come to Developer Town, and he had an idea for an intercom system. Any of you guys have intercom systems? I've seen them in houses before, and I had to ask what they were. But like, they were the thing that you would press the button and you could talk, between different floors. I think they were installed a lot in the 80s. Well, they had an idea for an intercom for the 21st century. And what Developer Town did was said, hey, we're going to help you with the start of this idea. We're going to help you get the MVP, the minimum viable product for this. Now, here's the cool story, is that Nucleus, that's the name of the company that they formed, is now in Lowe's stores. You can go and find Nucleus in all of Lowe's, right? You guys shop at Lowe's? I just went there and got an air filter. I shop at Lowe's. So Nucleus is an Android-based platform that they actually are the first partner on Amazon's Alexa system. So it's the first visual partner that you can use this intercom and partner with Alexa, like, hey Alexa, who's in my living room, right? For your intercom system. It's probably not how you actually use it. But they started that 3 years ago. It's now to market because they started with the right concept, the right MVP, the right minimum viable product. So if you're a leader in a large company, if you're a leader in a small company and you want to focus on starts, I can't recommend these guys enough. They help us with a lot of our starts just because we're in their space. Make sure you talk to one of these guys. If you're a Developer Townie, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Look around. Find these Developer Townies. Talk to them. We're not Townies technically. I'm still paying you your paycheck. So Verger. But yeah, we're big fans of DT. They're awesome. And both Eric and I can speak to the Developer Town and what they do because they're freaking sweet. And then Angie's List. Angie's List is in the house? All right, Angie's List this year dropped their paywall.
Yep.
Woo! Let's give it up for Angie's List for dropping their paywall. That's a huge move. So if you weren't at Verge, I have trouble clapping up here, so you guys have to clap when I say a round of applause. Let's try that again. A round of applause for Angie's List dropping their paywall. What's cool is that's leading to a dramatic uptick. Their new CEO is creating some awesome innovative culture over there. If you haven't been over there, make sure you find someone that works there. They can take you through for a tour. They host all kinds of meetups, so you can find them online on meetup.com or Eventbrite. Make sure you check out Angie's List. And I know we've got Blast Media folks in the house. Give me up. Where are we at, Blast Media? Blast? So Blast is actually a PR agency that is helping our next presenter. So Blast people are amazing. I worked with them previously at 3 of the startups that I worked at. They do an amazing job getting press for our entrepreneurs, whether it's on the New York Times or the Huffington Post or even TV spots on national media. These guys do an amazing job. They also do a ton of paid advertising through StatWax. So if you see one, give them a high five, grab a beer, say, hey, thanks for the beer. Because it's thanks to these guys that Verge has been around as long as it has and grown like it has. All right, so I already teased this, but our next presenter I'm super, super excited to bring up because I'm a customer, and what they're doing is changing the game for people that want to live non-toxic lifestyle. So if you can hear me in the back, I don't care if you talk over me, but I'm about to bring up my good friend, and entrepreneur, Megan. So if you can hear me, just take a step this way. Then you'll be able to hear me. Come on this way. Come on this way. We're going to bring up our next entrepreneur. I want you to be able to hear her. She's the co-founder and CEO of 120 Water Audit. Please help me welcome Megan Glover.
Oh yes, I want this liquor. Yep. And I want the ice because we can test that right now. If we just
Test the ice? Oh yeah, let's test the ice.
let's
Where's the
test it.
ice?
Come on, folio.
Come on, where are we at? Ice?
Yeah.
Ice? They've removed it. The ice is gone.
Yeah, ice is gone.
All right.
Thanks for the sample. Well, thanks, Dan, and I will look for your test in the lab very soon.
I promise I'll return it.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me, everyone. My name is Megan Glover, and I'm co-founder and CEO of 120 Water Audit. And there I am. I was actually at Disney World last week with my family, and I kid you not, I did take a sample at the Magic Kingdom. And if you want the results, give me your business card, and I can give it to you within 14 days. Okay, so now back, let's take it down a notch. If anyone in this room thinks that Flint was an isolated incident, think again. Flint was only the beginning. And probably one of the only positive things that happened from Flint is it really raised an awareness of a national issue, which is aging infrastructure and the fact that there's not enough funding and there's not enough regulation to solve the problem. Here's the fact. The majority is the water coming out of your public water system is perfectly safe. You could drink it there and it's the safest it's ever going to be. But as it travels to this aging infrastructure, through your home, through your lead pipes, your lead solder, that's where it's becoming contaminated. Case in point, we have a single faucet where there are a handful of places where lead could occur and contaminate your drinking water supply. So who is at risk for contaminated water? Who is at most risk? Well, at the very basic level, 1986, that's an important year. Anyone own a home or send their kids to a school that was built around or before 1986? Yes. Okay. You are at most risk for contaminated water. And if you're sitting here going, oh crap, this is a map within the 465 zip code, okay, 465 corridor. It's an estimate from Citizens Water that shows lead service lines and or components that may be leading up to your facility. So do your zip code checks, see how many are going there. And what's interesting though about this is, yes, this is within 465, presumably some of the oldest areas in the city, but based on our testing and the data that we've compiled, the number of most hits actually comes from an elementary school in one of the most affluent suburbs of the city. So if it can happen in an affluent suburb in the city, it can happen anywhere. So why is this so important? I know I was surprised as a parent of two to find out that schools, daycares, hospitals, they're not regulated to test their water one bit, and yet that's where the contamination is happening. It's completely the responsibility of that facility. It's not the public water supplier's responsibility, it's their responsibility. And this is why this is important. The first elementary school that we had a full service contract with, 10% of their taps that we tested came back with lead hits that exceeded the EPA's maximum contamination level. Again, one of the top 5 school districts in the state. And it's not their problem. It's not their problem. Their school is old. They have old infrastructure. They have old pipes. It's not their problem, but yet there's lead that exists. For this particular customer, our service offering was completely full service. We went in, we educated them on the issue, we instructed them on what taps to test, especially since we're dealing with young kiddos where their brains are still developing. We went in, we created a sampling plan, we did all of the mapping, we went in, we did the sampling collection process, we negotiated lab rates with the lab, we did all of the analysis, we helped them through the remediation, and right now we are in the communication phase. We are working on a communication plan and a plan to test the remaining 9 facilities. Okay, so where does 120 fit into this picture? 120 is absolutely positioned to be the market maker in water testing, not only for consumers, but for facilities. Yes, we're focused on schools and daycares, but think about any facility where water is being consumed. It's an issue. So where do we stand in this space? I mean, if you look at this space, you have utility companies that, yeah, they deal with water, but they don't have the resources nor the want to deal with homeowners or facilities. You have labs that employ scientists to analyze the water, and they just want that. They want the science behind the water. So 120 Water Audit is completely positioned to really own this space. And we can do it without changing anything right now. We have validated that we have a very valuable process that schools, facilities, and homeowners are willing to pay for. But we're tech people, and we love technology. And going through the process, we also believe that there's a technology component that can drastically help us scale from California to New York and every state in between, and help not only us, 120 Water Audit, as we're going into these facilities, but also help each individual school not only automate the testing process, but manage the remediation and the preventative maintenance that needs and has to occur 365 days a year until their next testing cycle. So what's in your water? I'm going to kick it off and say officially we are actually going into a round of funding that we are kicking off next week, where we are going to raise money to not only ramp up operations with what we're already doing and continue to grow 200% month over month, but we're also going to try to invest in this platform where we can really help streamline this process not only for our customers, but other schools and multi-location facilities that are dealing with this problem. And we have some great backers. I mean, Chris Baggett in the room, co-founder, chairman. He's actively involved in this company. There you are. There you are, sir. Thank you, sir. Scott Blazinski, who's backed this company from the beginning. And what's exciting is we have a lot of water people. Dave Cole, who is a co-founder who owns many environmental labs across the U.S., and people who actually work for the water utility space saying, hey, listen, hey, we call Uncle, we can't handle this problem by ourselves. We need a private entity to come in and really help us solve this. So we are thrilled and excited for the next phase of 120 Water Audit. And because I know you all are wondering what's in your water, go to www.wateraudit.com, promo code VERGE, and you can get $15 off any test or package there. I didn't get booed off.
Woo!
Okay, thank you.
Build it. Basically, I'm just afraid of what I'm going to find when I return my kit.
You hear that?
I live in Broad Ripple, so I know I'm screwed.
Yes.
So I just use as much filtration as I can.
Well, or test, ditch the filtration and save yourself money.
She's good. She's good. All right, Sharks. I know you've got feedback, questions. Jenny, you kicked us off last time, so a day. Do you mind kicking us off this time?
Yeah, I have kind of a two-part question. What does it sounds like you're doing tests for schools and other institutions, but it also sounds like you're doing tests for individual homeowners or renters, whatever. What's the pricing or packaging look like for each, and where are you focusing in terms of the market?
Sure. So yeah, we launched the company to bring a consumer kit to the market, EPA lab certified kit to the market, and that price is very transparent. You go on our website, if you're on a city package, it's $89. If you're on a well package, it's $99, and that's really contingent on how many tests are in that package. What we found during the process is there is a much greater need outside of just consumers into facilities. And so we launched the product a month and a half in. We had schools calling us saying, hey, we know you're doing this for consumers. Can you help us in our facility? And so how we do that is volume-based pricing, right? So it's much like how I would buy data storage or whatever from a software standpoint. We're able to, the more taps you have to test, the lower the rate we can go in volume. And then obviously we're going to tack on a surcharge for any services or ancillary services that we provide. So it's really customized depending on how big your facility is. Is it self-service? Is it full service? Etc. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, and so where do you see, are you focusing more on the consumer market or on the?
Yeah, so over the last 60 days, we have been lasered in on the facility market. So we've closed 5 deals within schools. We've shipped things to Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio, our packages within the last 30 days. So we've been laser focused there. But just last week, I got a call from Pittsburgh Water and Sewer saying, hey, we're dying here. We can't turn around these tests. It's taking us months. Can you help? So, so we are focused on facility, but we are completely set up and capable to handle any consumer business thrown away. That's how the business was set up.
Good questions. And I do want to remind our Sharks and our audience that we're just doing one question per Shark this round. So, Your very best one, Doug.
Doug has a 3-part question.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the motivation is, besides not killing our kids, what the motivation is of a facility manager that, let's say a school, that they're out of budget, out of everything, they're even trying to get air conditioning to work or whatever. What is the motivation for them to be testing their water?
Yeah. Couple things that we've seen with the progressive schools that we work with. One, they just want to do the right thing. You know, we put this in the category of air quality, right? You can't see it, you can't taste it, you don't know it's there until you test. And so they're lumping that into the preventative maintenance. We just want to know. And by the way, we also want to market that we know. You know, we want to make sure that if a parent comes and says, you know, my kid is sick from the water, they're sick from the air, they can go back and say, well, here's all the documentation that shows we've done the right thing. Okay. In some states, though, they're starting to mandate it. New York was the first state, as of 3 weeks ago, that mandated every single school to test for lead in their water. Ohio just, released a grant for $12 million specifically for water testing, and there's one actually at the federal level for $100 million. So the motivation is there's money there to completely test and remediate the problem. So why not do it?
Awesome.
All right, so we learned a lot about your product today. It was fantastic. I'm kind of curious about some of the performance metrics of the business, customer acquisition, where you're at from a revenue perspective, if you can share anything.
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah. So we officially launched the consumer product on May 15th. Okay, so we might be the earliest startup, you know, here. I don't know. I would so in terms of a revenue perspective, we did the consumer route for a month and a half, and then once we launched the school, we've grown 200% month over month in terms of revenue. So I don't want to share complete numbers necessarily, but in terms of like trajectory, going the consumer route, we've seen a trickle in of sales, but then once we started business development efforts, and Austin, he's a biology major from IU who we pulled in and said, hey, Austin, go aggregate every single school in Ohio, which he's been doing, and we've been focused on that. We've seen 200% month-over-month growth for our facility contracts.
Can you share how many audits you guys have done? How many tests?
So we've done 5 schools, one adult daycare, and roughly 65 consumer tests.
Good questions.
Including Disney?
That's the big contract.
Nice. Sharks, thank you so much for your questions. Really good questions. I'm sure that you have answers for interested investors that want us to talk specifics on numbers. But this video and these articles coming from this videos are going to be going on Forbes and Huffington Post and Business Insider. So I appreciate you keeping that close to your vest. And please let's give it up one more time for Megan from 120 Water Audit. And before we bring Megan off stage, Doug, what you got in that bag?
Megan, you have a brand new Egg-tastic.
Woo!
It makes perfect eggs. Now, if you go to YouTube and actually look it up, people have just stirred eggs in a bowl and got the same results, but it didn't have that cute name.
If you're done stirring your eggs, let's give it up one more time for Megan Brenner. Everybody's a winner here at Verge. All right. Everyone's getting the giving spirit. It's not even November yet. I love it. We've got an awesome community here. We're going to keep things rolling. And one thing I want to point out is that this always happens at Verge events. The first pitch goes up, and everyone wants to go and talk about it. So what I would like to invite people to do, if Danielle gives me the thumbs up, is it okay if people want to talk? They can go just on the other side of this wall. Over here. So, if you want to have a side conversation while this last pitch comes up, or the fireside chat, you can totally go on this other side of the wall and do that. This always happens because people are super stoked and they want to drink beer and talk about the pitches. So I'm going to invite you guys to do that. And if you see someone that's talking and you can't hear because they're talking, you can invite them to do that as well. All right. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Now that I've given that quick shout out, we definitely have some Studio Science folks here in the house. They are amazing. They're a design and innovation agency, and they are just right down here on the circle. They are the agency that came up with the name for Verge. They're the ones that came up with the brand for Verge. They came up with the name and the brand that we're about to launch. I'm not going to tell you what it is until we launch it. But they're an amazing team. They work with the biggest brands here in Indianapolis. And if you need design and innovation consulting, these are the guys to talk to. Raise your hand if you're in Studio Science. Let's give it up for these guys. These are amazing players here in the Indianapolis tech community. Pretty freaking awesome. And they're going to Dreamforce. So for the two people that are also going to Dreamforce, you guys should meet up. And then, of course, Innovate Map. Innovate Map, I want to make sure I announce this right, because if you were at our last event, which was at Salesforce, they gave away one of their burst weeks. So something that they would normally charge 6 figures for, they gave it away to one startup in the Verge community, which was huge. So these are former product managers, product leads at Aprimo. I almost said the company that acquired them, at Aprimo, and they've moved on to start their own agency. We just did a burst day. They just gave away a burst week. The winner was Kenji. Kenji's a startup out of West Lafayette, and we're going to be doing a follow-up video on kind of what they learned in that burst week, what their sort of big breakthroughs were. But I also want to give a huge shout out to them because they host a lot of community events in their space right there in Broderpool. They're doing a product tank on October 12th, so check that out. If you're a product manager, that's something definitely worth checking out. If you're in Innovate Map, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Got one guy at Innovate Map. If you want to talk to him, buy this guy a free beer. You can totally do that, and I think you should.
I'll do anything for beer.
Yeah, I know you will. They're free, man. You can just grab one.
I know.
Thanks for providing the beer. And then Taft, I know Jeff just left, but we have some Taft folks still in the house. Taft is awesome. They're our lawyers too. They do amazing work. They work with a lot of tech companies, from startup all the way up to acquisition. They do a lot on the investment banking side as well, acquisitions. They're an amazing, amazing law firm. So I just want to give a huge shout out to them. It's spelled like that. All right. So our third and final pitch. I want to give a huge shout out to this person. We connected on the phone a year and a half ago. It was just an inkling of an idea. I totally remember I was on the Monon right by Developer Town. Haley Altman just had this concept. She couldn't get it out of her mind. We had a little bit of back and forth. Now she's gone on and raised $2.2 million right here in Indianapolis. I'm probably stealing her lines right now. So please give a huge round of applause for Haley Altman from Doxley.
Hi, I'm Haley Altman. I am the CEO and founder of Doxley. I'm also a recovering attorney. It's been 5 months since I last practiced law, probably like 30 minutes since I gave some legal advice. You can't break old habits. But Doxley is a legal transaction management platform. Over the past 10 years, I've worked as an attorney doing transactions, helping companies all the way from when they've started to raising that initial first round of funding to help get their product off the map, through growth capital stages, through acquisitions and IPOs, those ultimate end goals. And throughout that time, I practiced in Indiana and on the West Coast in Silicon Valley. I've gotten to see a lot of tech companies grow, how they've innovated, how they've changed entire industries. And it's been amazing to be a part of it. And over the past few years, I've actually been a part of the Verge community, coming to these events, not putting the dot on my name tag so that all of you would talk to me, and not know that I was a service provider necessarily at first, because I always wanted to know what you all are doing. And so what we wanted to do is see what I've seen, what that's done, how technology has changed industries. And I looked, and I spent a lot of time looking back at the industry that I worked in and what we're doing. So when you think about it, what are transactions from a lawyer's perspective? We're the people that help with the first round of funding needs to actually bring your product to market. When you need the capital to help get to pay your employees so that you can continue your business, all the way through hopefully those dream exits, where you exit and sell your company. Lawyers are involved in all of those different transactions. There are different sizes. You can vary from $100,000 to the LinkedIn's most recent $26.2 billion sale to Microsoft. There are some things that are very key and consistent across all of these different transactions. For the client that is facing them, it is the most important thing to them at that time. And for the lawyers that are helping them through that process, it's complex, they are time sensitive, and at the end of the day, as a lawyer, what we want to do is bring that value to our client. We want to help them meet that goal, and we'll do it however we have possible. So when you look at it, today's legal transactions from the lawyer perspective are really complicated. It's much more fun when the little dots all pop up, but these are all the steps that we do on a daily repetitive basis throughout a transaction process using multiple tools. And a large number of them are actually paper-based. We have a lot of legal pad work, PDFs, all these different systems that we have to use to get the transaction to close. And from the client's perspective, there's not a lot of visibility into what needs to get done so that they can successfully close that transaction. So as an attorney sitting there constantly at 4 in the morning in an office looking for that last signature page to successfully close a deal for my client the next day, I sat there thinking, what tools could we bring into our area to help get these transactions done? So we created Doxly. Doxly is an end-to-end transaction management platform. We take all of these disparate parts, these disparate systems, and put them together in one place. So when you think about it, it's an entire transaction on one platform. Instead of logging into different diligence rooms to review documents, we have one system. All the closing documents and the deal documents and the diligence reviewed and monitored in one place. We take project management and collaboration tools to bring clients and their counsel to one place. We envision having everyone on the same platform with the same vision to get to a deal close. And then we actually bring the process together with electronic signatures so that you can move the deal to closing faster. And then we take the important part from a legal perspective of what is the actual transaction, and we create that record. But sometimes for clients, you guys wait months. Transaction books for us, it's a lot of time to put into this, and we have a lot of transactions on our plate. We want to get to that closing perspective faster. And then when you think about it, there's a lot of data that lives in these different deals. There's information for the law firms about how many deals they've done in a year so that they can show people that they're equipped to do that next transaction. From a client perspective, you want to know what's market. What are the terms that are important to you as you negotiate your next round of funding? What's market in the Midwest for pre-money valuations for your next funding round? What is the liquidation preference that's common? You need that information so you can position yourself to get the best deal possible. And with Doxly, we want to unlock that data and give you all the insights and information to close your transactions and to do it in the best way possible. So our goal from the transaction platform is to bring everyone together into one place, get the deal done, and get it done simpler and faster, hopefully eliminating some of those late nights that I ended up enduring. So where are we now? We've launched a great product. We launched in July of this year out of High Alpha. I was participated in one of their sprint weeks, and we in 24 hours or in a 3-day period, we signed 4 pilot customers to prove that this is a concept that's needed in the law firm. So these are paid pilots. We actually completed our funding round just earlier this month, raised $2.3 million, but we did it with really strategic investors. One of the investors is Nextlaw Labs, which is a venture arm of the world's largest law firm, which at the same time as the funding round, they came on as one of our customers. So we have not only been able to bring on pilot customers that are paying for, and now as of last week, using our product, but we're able to integrate with some of the largest players in the transaction space. So we've been really fortunate to bring on key people with enterprise experience and legal technology experience. And now we're looking forward to growing our team, bringing simplicity and adoption to a market that has been a little reticent to bring on the technology. We think the time is right. There's a generational shift in the legal market. And we think that clients, the fee sensitivity, the increased pressure to close deals faster is moving people towards the adoption of technology in the legal industry.
I have to admit, I forgot to turn my timer on. And so, like, Erica's internal clock went off. She's like, that's 5 minutes. And it's such
like,
a
you were 5 minutes, and I was waiting for my team to tell me, was this, are we at 5 minutes?
You wanted to get clapped off stage. Yeah. There's a certain subsect of entrepreneurs that wants to get solo clapped off stage. So I apologize for forgetting. The last legal tech startup that pitched on stage, I also forgot to start the timer. So I don't know what it is.
We're just so exciting. Legal tech is like, so.
All right. We got to
If
save
you
some
were
time.
charging per minute, you'd remember.
All right. Sharks, Doug, you should grab the mic again because you haven't kicked off the questions yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, you don't have any questions?
No, I'm just too dumb to understand what's going on. So I am a little bit confused. So is this a very specific transaction that that legal and attorneys are taking care of every single day, that this takes care of that one path where they might have, you know, other stuff going on as well and legal documentation, but this fixes one problem?
Yeah, so when you look at law firms, there's all sorts of different practice areas. There's, you know, from a corporate credit perspective, there are attorneys that focus their entire practice on M&A transactions. There's other people that focus on venture capital, which is my area.
Okay.
Others that do private equity. And then you think about it, it expands into commercial real estate, municipal finance. These are all transaction-based practices. And in legal, there have been technology that's been brought in from the IP and the litigation standpoint, but corporate has been kind of largely absent in technology. You see it at the fringes, and we want to kind of bring it all together. And when you think about it, there's just a lot of different types of transactions, and really it's any workflow-based practice within a law firm. So we're starting with transactions because we see that's the greatest need, that's the greatest, transactions are on the rise in law firms, so you can generate a lot of, the transactional practices bring a lot of revenue to the law firm and bring a lot of business to other practice areas. So we wanted to start at that specific pain point and build a platform that actually touches a lot of different areas in the practice of law.
Good question. And answer. That's clear for me too. So, Jenny?
All right, so can you share some of the metrics from your pilot customers in terms of how it's affected their performance or their speed to transaction completion, and then how that impacts your go-to-market strategy, deal sizes, and what you anticipate in terms of your go-to-market?
Yeah, actually the go-to-market part has been really interesting. We've been lucky. We weren't sure if we were going to have to go partner by partner because it's sometimes difficult to get into law firms. There's a lot of layers of institutional rigor that you have to go through. There's now CIOs and chief strategy officers and tech committees. And so we have two approaches from a go-to-market perspective, that top-down where we've been able to get the introductions to the practice technology leaders or the CIOs of the firm or sometimes the managing partners, and we're able to kind of sign like a larger scale deal. But we've also had a lot of people kind of from that bottom-up perspective of saying, we want to try this, like I need this, I need this in my life. And so we're now approaching how can we actually tap both instances. We're getting a lot of requests in, which from my perspective was like kind of surprising to see people actually request a demo and want us to show them what we're doing. And so so we're looking at it from two different perspectives. How do we, what will work the best for us? So we're still kind of testing that out. Our initial focus is to go top down so you can get the full scale deals. But from an adoption perspective, I think a bottom up actually might help us bring on adoption. And then the metrics that we've seen so far, we tested it out with paralegals, associates, partners, and business development and marketing professionals within the firm because they all have different user personas, they have different needs, and we've been able to show them how this can actually really increase, or that can bring value to them, which they can then bring to their clients. And so we've seen it saving time on the paralegal side of preparing signature packets or being able to identify how many signatures you still need, because we have a dashboard that tells you you need 5 signatures to close, or you need 3 more documents.
So does it say an hour of time per paralegal? Does it say 5 hours of time per paralegal?
I know. I don't know that we have enough data on that, but we've from the metrics, the feedback that we've gotten is that it saved them time. It's allowed them to focus on more high-value tasks that they can bill. So on a realization rate, that's where attorneys look at more. They don't look at how many hours they don't do. They look at the percentage that they're able to recover. So from an efficiency standpoint, their realization rates are starting to go up, which is a really meaningful metric from a law firm perspective.
Good question. Sharks keeping the entrepreneurs on their toes. Ade?
You've kind of touched on this a little bit, but I should be careful how I word this because 2 of the attorneys I work with are in the crowd, so not them. Most attorneys that I work with are not very tech savvy. Again, they're really good about keeping the client accountable with the time that they spend and charging and passing those savings on. So how do you navigate that with the people you're selling to, because they're kind of used to hundreds of years of just passing passing that money on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things you see a lot of client pushback of having fixed fee and having those type of arrangements where you can't do that. And so one of the things that it was one of the biggest learnings that I've had in doing this, since I've had the idea while I was at the law firm, being able to come out and work with design people from Studio Science and John Hubbard, who's Studio Science and over at High Alpha. We built a product built with the design in place, designed to make it simple. What we wanted to do is we wanted to make it accessible. You don't have to understand technology. So when we built with the partners, I don't need them to know how to build a checklist. I need them to get the data that they need to manage the process. And for the more tech-savvy associates and partners that are, living in the documents, we've made it so that it is easy for them to use. We had people use the product as we were building it out with designers and our engineers watching. We didn't tell them one thing about it. We didn't tell them anything to do. And we said, do a deal on the transaction, and we watched them. And we watch where the pain points are, and we are amazed at how much they got right on their own, and then we revise the product to make it more apparent at the places that that other people seem to stumble. And then we're also building a customer success team, because I think it's one of the biggest things that you can do to really gain customer adoption is to make it easy and accessible and understanding. And so we're going to be putting together videos and everything that makes it easy for not just the customer paying for it, but every person touching the transaction to be able to use it.
Great question, guys. I think we might have the last prize of the evening. Unless, Doug, did you bring anything for our fireside chat?
And I already had the spaghetti, so I was like.
This is the most disgusting prize that I could find. So, because clipping your nails just is so difficult, you get a roto clipper.
I did have the spaghetti, so this is good. That's the question. Building it out here.
Let's give it up one more time for All right, that was the last of our pitches. I want to thank really quick all of you guys for being awesome audiences. We've seen some really great feedback come through the app. If you still have some feedback fresh in your mind, make sure you go to the Indianapolis section of the app, because we are in 8 cities currently. So go to the Indianapolis section, find the presenter, give them feedback. These Sharks did a great job. Didn't these Sharks do an amazing job giving feedback and asking questions? Let's give it one more time for Jenny Vance, Doug Carr, and Ade Olodo. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Yeah! All right. I love pitches. I love helping entrepreneurs get ready for pitches. I love watching the pitches. I love learning from the pitches. But we're about to do my favorite part of the evening. And what I want to do is lean on you guys a lot for your questions for this part of the Q&A, the fireside chat. Our next guest is very, very ingrained in the technology community here. Just had an amazing exit, which we're definitely going to talk about. But I'm going to be relying on you guys for questions. Before I bring him on stage, though, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends at, well, just kidding, they're not in there. I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Relevance. So, relevance.com. If you guys don't know, they are an agency. They do events, and then they have a publication as well. So, they do content promotion. Nice shushing. Good job, Erica. That's solid shushing. Shush sprinkler over there. All right, in case you didn't hear me previously, if you do want to have a conversation, you go to the other side of the wall. The fireside chat is kind of where we get intimate, and we get the people that are engaged and want to have these conversations. So here's what I invite you to do. You have a free hand? If you have a free hand, raise it. Raise it. If you have a free hand, raise it. All right. Now what I want you to do is find someone on the other side of the room that has your hand up. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. I see you, Lil Clorin. Hold your hand up. All right. If you see someone on the other side of the room, what I want you to do is to swap places with them and just high five them on the way. I just want you guys to mix it up. Mix it up. Get out of your friend group here. Come on. High five. High five. Come on. We're going to mix it up. We're going to keep things moving. I know. Corbin, I got you. I got you, bro. I got you. All right. We're just mixing it up. We're mixing it up.
We gotta keep the blood flowing. All right. Got you. I got you. I don't know if I All right, and now if you can hear me say shh. I wasn't looking at you. I can't see anything up here. Everyone thinks I'm looking at them, but I can't see anyone. All right, so here's what I want you to do. If you want to have a side conversation, people in the back that can't hear me, there's plenty of space over here. For the people that want to hear and ask questions, take 2 giant steps forward. Take 2 giant steps forward. We cannot see beyond the lights. We cannot see beyond the lights. Yeah, there you go. You got it, Danielle. Come on, Alan. All right. Our fireside chat presenter, I've known for 7 years. 7 years. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's spent time out in Silicon Valley working with tech startups out there. He's worked at the same company I worked at, although we missed each other at tenure in there, at a company called Cha-Cha. And he led Apparatus through the acquisition, which was $34.2 million. $34.2 million. I got the last acquisition, or last fundraiser wrong. It was 2.3, not 2.2. But $34.2 million acquisition. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I want to talk more about what happened prior to that. So, again, please help me give a huge round of applause. Give all your energy to a good friend, Alan Brar. Thank you so much for being here.
You saw me do sexy jazz voice tonight, or?
Yes, sexy jazz voice sounds great. Yeah. What are the Yaz voice? The Yaz voice. All right. So there's a lot we could talk about. But I would love to know a little bit for the kind of points that I named in the timeline. In looking back, obviously the more recent things are going to stand out to you more. What are the things that stood out to you prior to going to Apparatus that were kind of pivotal moments for you?
Sure, I think there's a lot of kind of winner's bias when it comes to starting companies or growing companies. And honestly, I think the things that I hold near and dear to my heart are probably the 3 or 4 bankruptcies that I went through prior to a successful exit in Apparatus. And I think we lose sight of that, kind of the journey. And some of those were my father's family business growing up. My parents were immigrants from India, and this is a wild story, but they moved to the Bay Area, and I was born there, and it was a little too much for my parents. We had a family friend in southern Indiana. So I kid you not, we left the Bay Area, and when I'm 3 years old, we moved to Napoleon, Indiana. Okay? It is
I don't even know where that is.
It's not too far from Lawrenceburg, a town of 300 people. I remember when we made Hee-Haw, like literally, like it was a big deal because we got a shout out on Hee-Hawks for those that remember what Hee-Haw was.
Wow.
Major myself. So, and my dad bought a business there, and he was running a convenience store. We lived in an apartment above it, and one day I'm like, Dad, in a very little kid voice, I'm like, Dad, why are these motorcycles lined up in front of the store? And no kidding, they were protesting my family's presence in the town, and they shut our business down. And so how we ended up in Indianapolis is my dad basically found the biggest city north of Napoleon, Indiana, and we moved there, right? So that was business failure number 1 that we lived through.
But that's not even your fault.
No, but hey, neither is the housing crash for a lot of people, right? But there's these macroeconomic events that you start to understand, right? Sometimes it's not just effort, but it's what's happening out in the world, and how are you going to persevere and pick up and continue to move on. And I think some of those lessons I got from my father, continue to live with me.
How old were you then when that happened?
I was like 6 years old, 6 years old. But I literally remember looking down out of the window and seeing basically our store get shut down because they didn't want customers to come in. So it's kind of wild.
That's crazy. Do you remember how your parents processed that? I mean, obviously, you're 6 years old, so you probably processed it like a 6-year-old.
But very interesting time. So my dad actually earned his U.S. citizenship while we were there. So it was really an interesting time of mixed blessings, right? So we had the store fail. My dad gets his U.S. citizenship. We found a way to Indianapolis, and he started over. He was a cashier at a convenience store, and then years later bought another store, saved up his ducats. And the night of my high school graduation, we lost that business, right? Through the company that was supplying gas to us went bankrupt. So instead of being able to buy gas at wholesale prices, we had to buy gas at retail prices. So again, yet again, kind of another macroeconomic event where grit and hard work wasn't enough, right? So ended up in Silicon Valley after college, working for the country's first DSL company. So I was on a team that we installed the first consumer DSL line in the U.S. And at our market peak, we're on the cover of Business Week, and our market cap is $10 billion. And then 2001 happened, and we were trading at $300 million overnight. I was at dinner with AOL, believe it or not, and I remember like $1,000 bill, and I'm like 23 years old. And from the time the bankruptcy got announced to when I put my card down, Amex had already rejected the card and canceled our account.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so, but I actually stuck it out there, had a great time. Some of my dearest friendships out
How
there.
do you bounce back from something like that?
Yeah, well, first of all, you were in good company in 2001, Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
So it was, we actually were some of the lucky ones. We did a pre-negotiated Chapter 11, worked with our debt holders. We had some pretty unfortunate things that had happened to us from a regulatory perspective. But I stuck it out. It was fun to kind of watch the company reform. But ultimately, Susan and I decided we wanted to be back in Indianapolis. So we decided to pick up and head to Indy, and I absolutely had no idea what I was going to do. So, and the rest is history, I suppose. So.
Well, so you've been involved with technology for a long time. Written the ups and downs. We've pretty much covered all the
downs.
A lot of the downs. We've covered a lot of the downs right now. What were some of the breakthrough moments for you in your technology career?
So I think, in each of these, ultimately, maybe kind of dramatic endings, there was a lot of fun and some really shining moments. I was 23 negotiating with the commissioner of the FCC, at that startup in Silicon Valley. When I was at Cha-Cha, where you spent some time with Danielle and Kate Davis and so many people in this room, and Kyle and John, we signed a 7-figure deal with AT&T that we worked on for 14 months. So that was, there are all kinds of silver linings to many of these stories. And you have to learn from the failure, but you also kind of have to recall and remember, what you were doing well and the success that you had through, some painful times. So there's definitely a lot of positive wins. And Apparatus clearly being, kind of a massive win that we all just went through.
Let's talk about that, because I'd love to know more about that. Obviously, maybe not obviously to a lot of people in the room here, but I worked at Blue Lock. I was a board fellow at Blue Lock, which is a cloud hosting company, which was deeply partnered with Apparatus at the time. Maybe they still are. I learned a lot about what you guys did, worked with Mike and Ben Frame and Kelly and yourself. I was just blown away by just how tight-knit that group was in the earlier days of Apparatus, at least earlier for me. What was it that made Apparatus a consultancy that someone would want to acquire?
Yeah, so we sat down when I first started and kind of thought really deeply about where we wanted to take the business, and it was kind of a classic story of saying no to a lot of things and really thinking about trends and where the industry was going. And it sounds really cliche, but I think we didn't want to go fight the red ocean fight. So there's all these technology consulting companies doing project work. And I remember looking up how do services companies grow? Because it was the first services company that I ever worked at. And I found that the largest services companies in the country were the oldest services companies in the country. And we felt like that wasn't good enough. So basically decided that instead of taking project work or staff augmentation work, we were really going to go focus on building a platform, branding a platform, and through the advent of people going from physical to virtual to cloud-based infrastructure, it dawned upon us that we could manage, servers and do sysadmin work globally right here from Indianapolis, right? So we worked really hard at kind of refining our market positioning, and then once it finally took off, in about 18 months, we went from having clients from Indianapolis and Fort Wayne to the top 40 MSAs in the U.S. in 18 months' time. So once that happened, with all that national growth, kind of the opportunity started to present themselves, quite frankly, with regard to the next chapter for the company.
So it was really a business model change. Seeing
Right.
like, here's the red ocean. This is where people are going. We're going to do something that's a totally different
Correct.
waterway.
Yeah, so we'd have clients call and say, hey, can we have, a Linux admin on site for 3 months? And, in many cases, not all cases, depending on who the client was, but we would say, that's not how we approach it. We really want to be responsible for the care and feeding for that environment. And at the time that we sold the company, because of that approach, as a professional services company, we had about 75% recurring revenue, which is pretty unheard of in the consulting space.
That's awesome. And what year did that happen? What was would you call it a pivot?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we were kind of building our way up to it. So I think the pivot was, we felt like we had perfected the business model in Indianapolis. So the first place we took the managed services offering was Indy, Fort Wayne. And then we said, look, let's go try to take this thing national. And it turned out that we were a really good fit for a lot of different technology VARs and data centers to kind of package our service alongside. So we basically went to market ultimately as a powered by apparatus kind of offer, and had 99% of our revenue was driven by resellers that were packaging our service and platform with what they were selling to their end clients. So that earned us the right into clients like Electrolux and Chobani Yogurt, and you name it. So we got some really marquee brands through that process.
Which probably just kind of helped the snowball keep going.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite date were, when Tinderbox said close and we didn't even know who the client was, because somebody out there in the universe sold it on our behalf. So
That's
were
awesome.
good moments, yeah.
That's always nice when that happens.
I do wish we had Doxley when we were selling the company, though. So the reports from
Doxley would be great. Doxley would be great.
Tom Walsh could have hooked me up.
I have a lot of questions, particularly around how you grew the team. And I want to jump into those if no one else has questions, but I would love to ask the Verge community. Yeah, Mike. Or Mark, sorry.
Yeah, I'm on. So 75% recurring revenue for services company is crazy. When you guys were shopping around, did you get a lot of skepticism around that, or how do people react to that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to repeat the question just so everyone can hear. So 75% recurring revenue sounds a little unbelievable from a services company. Did you get some pushback on that, and did people kind of try to poke holes in that, and then how did you respond?
I think there's certainly always skepticism when you meet a professional services company with that type of recurring revenue. But to give you a little bit of context, we found an opportunity where, like, as we went and partnered with data center providers, their clients are going to sign up for a multi-year kind of service contract for this infrastructure that they're investing in, right? So what we're able to do really effectively is essentially piggyback off of that. And so if you're going to buy, 100, servers to support your SQL environment for, 3 years, we would tie our contract to that. And so, the believability honestly really came from having really solid paperwork. So, when you go through a diligence process, I tell you, it's extremely intense, and this whole kind of lead to cash process, be ready for it and make sure, your paperwork is very buttoned up, but you just got to follow the paper trail. And, ultimately, we looked at it as an opportunity because we knew our paper was so good that, the believability showed up really quickly when they were able to kind of run through our books. So.
That's awesome. Good feedback, too. Yeah.
I'm curious, a lot of cultures.
Mike.
So curious, a lot of cultures from an employee perspective, as they go into that, going from sale, the culture will really shift. And just curious from your perspective, what you do to keep the culture intact. Because I see a lot of organizations that once they move it for sale, the culture starts going down.
So, two things, and I'll answer the second part first. We really, kind of quote unquote being on sale, we never ran a process. Basically, in our ecosystem, the partners that we work with, we had 3 or 4 companies within a short amount of time and approach us independently about opportunity to acquire us. And we had turned down all of them. The very last one that kind of showed up at the end of 2014, we thought there was really some strategic compatibility. So I think the reality is the best thing you can do to build value in your business is try to build independent value in your business, and then you just hope that doing all those right things, if there's an opportunity to partner or if a strategic acquisition makes sense, they kind of those answers started appearing to us without us necessarily having to go do a bunch of work to find them. On the culture part, I think you just got to be candid and real about it. I don't think you can keep the culture intact, quote unquote, right? And I think you really got to evaluate, the company that's acquiring you. One of the tests we had, right, when we would think about an acquisition, we would say, what does the all hands meeting sound like, right? So what are we saying to the employees, and does that make sense or not make sense? And you just gotta, the culture's gonna have to evolve. We were acquired by a company at that point in time that had 10,000 employees. Since then, they've done some other acquisitions up to 20,000 employees. So the notion that the apparatus culture would be fully intact was probably not gonna happen. But do you feel good enough about partnering with the leadership team of the acquiring entity to say, look, there's a lot of things you do really well, there's a lot of things we do really well. So in our business unit, right, what about the pieces regarding infrastructure management and apparatus do we want to really put a lot of emphasis and focus on? So, there's definitely remnant culture that's there. But I think trying to keep it intact is probably, not going to happen. I think when you're acquired by a company that's much larger than you, it's hard to keep it completely intact. So.
It's a good question. We probably have time for one more question. I'll take it unless someone has a question burning. You can close us down if you want to. What's next?
So September 9th was my last day at Apparatus, and I jumped in to work on a new company on that following Monday. So really early stages. I'm really excited about the opportunity. So you're probably around late winter or spring. You'll be hearing more from me about my next venture in the software space. And stay tuned. So maybe I'll be up here pitching.
We'd love to have you. Let's give it up one more time for Alan Brown. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you for those of you that stayed standing this entire time. I realize that we probably should have had chairs for such a large audience. But I'm glad that a lot of you are here. I'm glad a lot of you are still here. Because for those of you that don't know, Verge is still just getting started. A lot of Verge is about connecting, and we've got plenty of time here to connect. We have plenty of beer in the back. Yes? Nope, not plenty of beer in the back. But there's lots of area to connect. I know that they're doing a little bit of tours, but I do want to bring a special guest up here before we go. You will see all these pitches online on YouTube. Candido is who we use to edit all the video down. New Thread Films has done a story. You'll see a story about a video story here in a couple of weeks. And then you'll see that through the email list. So if you didn't hear about this event and a friend invited you, the email list is where you want to be. Stay on the email list. Deliver delivers all of those emails. They're freaking awesome. Huge fan of them. We've got an awesome lineup next month, including a co-founder of one of our sponsors, Smarter HQ. They do amazing retargeting. They work with big brands all over the world. The co-founder, Angel Morales, has a new startup that he'll be pitching on stage at the next Verge event. So make sure you're here for that and are on the email list so you see all about that. At this point, I want to bring a huge partner and friend, the executive director of the Speakeasy. Please help me welcome Danielle McDowell and Erica from the Verge team to the stage. So Danielle, thank you so much for hosting us here in the Speakeasy. I know that you and your team did an awesome job getting this space ready for us. 24 hours ago, I was in here, and it has come a long way. So,
Matt gave me this look. Matt just gave me this look. Like, if you... It was like, holy shit, this is a mess. Yeah. You guys better clean this up. Yeah, we got it done.
Pretty awesome space, right? And Danielle, we just wanted to say thank you so much.
There's literally HVAC pieces. Do you see these things? HVAC pieces right here in the middle of the floor. So.
And it's very nice HVAC at that. As a token of our appreciation, we wanted to give you a small gift from the Verge community, including some of the core values from Verge, from the Speakeasy.
You can hang that all
We
of us.
hope.
This is our community. This is our community. We built this together. We've been in this, Matt, I mean, come on, I was in this when we were 20-somethings doing tech.
I'm hanging on to my 20-somethings for a few more months, so.
I am not. I am well into my, well, maybe 32, but.
And to all the 20-somethings in the audience and the post-20-somethings in the audience, thank you for being with us for tonight, for the past 7 years, as we continue to grow. Eric and I get on the plane tomorrow to launch Verge Kansas City. We're going to keep going with Verge Nashville next month. Speakeasy continues to grow. Let's give it up one more time for Danielle and And thanks to you guys. Let's grab some Sounds Like Waters and hang out. Thanks for being here.
So, we've got a catch that's somebody.
It's
Yeah, because that's what it means.
This being recorded on XLR or theirs? Theirs, not mine.
But you know, I've had the fact I don't know about those story, but he was swimming, right? And he wasn't going back. So that's